Bills, Jaguars. Bills defeat the Jaguars 20s. What it was, 27-24?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yep.
27
27-24.
24.
Yep.
This is the upset that's not the upset because technically the Buffalo Bills were not the underdog. They were the betting favorite by 1.5 points on the road. But I can't tell you a single person that was not a Bills fan that picked the Bills to win this game. ESPN, First Things First, whoever, wherever, nobody had the Bills winning this game, even though the Bills do have last year's MVP, the reigning MVP.
I had the
The
Bills winning.
Bills,
I didn't. Well, Herbie, you know how we feel about Trevor. We'll get to that.
yeah, we'll get to that, but I'm talking about nationally. I'm talking
Yeah, I
about
got you. I
big
got you.
picture, yeah, big whatnot, right? And they did what they always do, which is show up, show resilience, and show that they could possibly be the representative of this year's Super Bowl on the AFC bracket side. Now, let's get into the game, man. So, Bills, Jaguars. I started with you last time, Rod. I'm gonna start with you. If you were, how much of the game did you catch, Ashton?
I didn't catch much. I was out doing errands and stuff. I was just watching it from the ticker, from the ESPN ticker.
Man, you was watching it for your betting purposes, man. I know you Negroes and your goddamn Hard Rock app and your fan duels and whatnot. I know. So, all right. So I'll start on my end because I was the same way. I was running errands, so I was trying to. I had ESPN radio on. I was, being a father, but I caught majority of the game. So I'll start with my assessment, and we'll start with the winning team. So with the Bills, I was actually surprised, and I was surprised that the defense was able to do what they did for the most part. Now, that Russian defense is not championship worthy
No.
whatsoever. That pass rush is not championship worthy whatsoever. But to see certain players on the back end who you've known struggle with injuries and age and getting up there, still have an elite game at Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White was the MVP of the game. Like, like Tre'Davious White in
Especially
a
that
lot
last
of
game.
aspects, yeah, was the MVP of the game because there were so many moments that were shifted by either him getting hand on the ball or him making plays. So many deflections at the line, which always drives me crazy. Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Justin Herbert is 6'5". Trevor Lawrence is 6'6". How do you guys get so many goddamn passes batted at the line? But that's neither here nor there. That's just an aside. But that's something that drives me crazy. But the game was really good, and it it felt like the right team won, but not necessarily the better team won.
Correct.
Jaguars looked better on the ground. Jaguars were very efficient with their offense for outside of the first quarter because that first quarter was ugly from both teams. Nobody was doing anything.
Right.
But the Jaguars had the rushing. The Jaguars had more passing touchdowns. The Jaguars had, I believe, more. Let me see right now. Give me 1 second.
Well, they had a number one rushing defense, and you could tell that they won their matchup because the Bills didn't run like that.
Nah.
And it was just like I'm just like, dog, how did y'all not win this game? They had more total yards. They had more yards per play. Um, let's see here. They had 155 100 if you have 150 rushing yards in a game, you're not supposed to lose that in a playoff game. They were averaging 6.7 yards per carry and they found a way to lose this game.
I mean, dude, at one point, Tootin and ETN were averaging 12 yards a pop between the two of them.
And they only had two penalties the entire game for 10 lost yards. I gotta give the Bills credit, man. Shout out to the Bills, bro, to be in that circumstance and to find a way to pull that one out, bro. Like, Rod, I know this pains you as an AFC East fan. I know you hate to give credit where credit's due, dog, but we gotta give the Bills credit. Like, they won the game that a lot of people didn't think they were capable of winning. They won a game where they were technically not as productive or as good as the team that they beat, and they still found a way to pull it out, man. So, what is your overall assessment in that regard?
Well, listen, Herbie. You listen. I gotta give credit where credit's due, right? Like, obviously, I'm not trying to see these guys win a Super Bowl, but we discussed this prior to the playoffs, Herbie. if there was ever a time for Josh Allen to make a run, Herbie, it would be during the time where the other top three quarterbacks in the AFC are not playing. And look, credit to Trevor Lawrence in this regard, Herbie. He tried his best impression for the middle portion of the game. How he started the game and how he ended the game were great, but he tried to match that level, and for moments he looked like. But look, man, I'm going to go ahead and give the Bills a lot of props, Herbie, because I thought that I thought early in the game that they were going to be done, right? And I'll get to that when we get to the Jaguars. But they were able to kind of withstand the storm, keep themselves in the game, get the lead, and they really were able to kind of keep themselves in control. And it was weird, Herbie. It was weird because, like you said, the Jags did kind of look like the better team. But credit to the Bills' pass defense, especially, man. Their
Yeah.
secondary guys like Cole Bishop, Tre'Davious White, even Jordan Poyer, old ass, was making plays. You know what I'm saying? So Christian Benford, I mean, all those guys played a hand. And look, Buffalo had the number one pass defense going into the game. Now that could be kind of skewed because their rushing defense was terrible. They ranked low in just about every statistical category you can think of for rushing. But that defense, especially on the back end, man, they showed up. And Herbie, what can you say about Josh Allen and the Bills' offense? Right? You talk about a team that was the number one rushing offense. Jags had the number one rushing defense, and they couldn't really run the ball that well. They had a couple plays here and there, but credit Josh Allen, credit guys like Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman with an epic catch, Shavers,
Brandon Cooks.
Brandon. Brandon Cooks has been efficient everywhere he's been. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that guy. Like he's one of the rare players that has contributed solid minutes to every team he's played with, and he did it again for the Bills today, Herbie. So listen, man, props to the Bills, Herbie. This should be Josh Allen's year, Herbie, because without a doubt, he's the best player in both conferences in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, and that's where I want to take it to before I take it back to the Jag side, right? Like there was it was the rare situation where the person that was at the head of the team, the Bills, had to win this game, even though most people did not have him winning this game. Right? Like it was a super damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for Josh Allen. And he rose to the occasion, man. Like all in all, I gotta give the homie props. Sean McDermott, you get to get some Bills Bay checks for one more week, dog. Like you get to put some people at bay because if they would have lost this game, bro, Sean
Oh, he
McDermott, man,
gone.
you would,
He
yeah,
gone.
we would have had the same position when it comes to being a NFL head coach. Not one, dog. We would have been right with, we would have right
Imagine
been
this
at the
is his
same
first
level.
road win in what 7, 6, 8 years? First road win.
Yeah, yeah. So it was an incredible game. And so let me ask you a question. When when it got to the 1 yard line with the goal to go, I was actually shocked that they actually scored in that position. I would have went ahead and just nailed the ball like twice because I don't think the Jaguars would have had any what's to call it. But you saw that the Jaguars let them score. And they had a minute and I think 12 seconds left to go. So I was shocked. I was shocked. What did you think about that at that time? And that's gonna lead me to my next question. Did you feel like that they left the Jaguars too much time on the clock, Rod, after that position?
Given the way, okay, so what I thought that I mean I didn't think about the two kneel downs, which probably might have worked out better for them. But I thought it was the right play, right? You let them score, you make sure you give yourself as much time as you can on the clock. I didn't disagree with that. But given the way Trevor Lawrence had played after throwing that first interception, I thought the Jags they did leave them too much time. Given the way he was, given the rhythm that they caught after everything had transpired, especially in the second half, right? Because it was a back and forth second half, pretty much.
Yeah,
Trevor
for sure.
Lawrence had caught fire with that offense. So, but of course, when he threw the interception, credit to Tre'Davious White who batted the ball up, and then it was I forget who it was Cole Bishop who ended up snagging the pick.
Oh, but, yep.
I did think that the Bills left them too much time given the way the game was going, but credit to the number one passing defense in the league, man.
And this leads me to my actual question. That was just all a setup to have a stomp on his nuts Trevor Lawrence segment, man. Yeah, that's y'all Prince. That's y'all King. That's y'all King. When times is rough, people show who they really are. Trevor Lawrence, for as good as he played in the second half, for as good as he looked in the second half, his faults are on full display. Bro, the man just do this sometimes with the ball. That last pick was one of these, bro. He was
Yeah,
determined
I
to
don't know
throw that
what he
ball
was
to
trying to
Jacoby
do.
Myers no matter what. There was nobody. I don't care who was open. I don't care if Brian Thomas Jr. was running a go route wide open and nobody was covering him. He was still throwing that ball to Jacoby Myers, bro. He is a 6'6" version of Brock Purdy, dog. Sometimes their brain just turns off, bro. And they just
Yeah.
gonna pick and identify who they want to throw that ball to, no matter what. The first pick to Shaq Thompson was a terrible decision. Shaq Thompson was right there. He didn't even have to move. He was right there. He stood in one spot. How do you not see big ass Shaq Thompson?
Right.
Like, this isn't put it like this. If you want to include the first playoff game that he played against
Chargers.
the Chargers, and you want to include this game, and he's played in 3 playoff games. He has a potential. I don't remember how many. If I'm pretty sure he threw a pick against the Chiefs too, but
Yeah,
minimum
7 picks. Yeah, in 3 games.
7 picks in 3 games, dog.
Yeah.
7 picks in 3 games. It probably should be 8 because Shaq Thompson got his hand on another pick that he dropped. There's a potential 8 picks in 3 games that Trevor Lawrence has committed. That's just picks. We're not even talking about the fumbles.
Fumbles, yeah.
And the best season of his career, not even the best season, the best 8 games, because a lot of people just completely forget. They got Men in Black light flashed. They just forgot the first 8 games of the season where he was asked for majority of the season. The last 8 games, he was 15 touchdowns to 1 interception. He was absolutely showing his true and full potential, the number 1 pick that we have all waited for. But the playoffs expose you and really identify who you are at your core. At his core, this is who he's going to be. He's going to lose the road game. He's going to lose the home game by throwing a pick to end the game with a minute left, man. It's so poetic, dog. I love it. I
And you
love
know,
it.
and you know what hurts for the Jags fans, and I know that was a pitiful way for the game to end for Jags fans, but I think maybe one of the most important moments of the game, Herbie, was early in the game. And if you remember, the Jags started off with a 3-and-out. Then Trevor threw that first pick to Shaq Thompson on a Tampa 2, which didn't even look like it was disguised to me. It looks like something you should have saw.
Yeah.
But then following that, the Bills score a field goal, then the Jaguars go and score a touchdown. This portion of the game was where the Jags had to take control because this could have swung the game. They get a fumble on the special teams. They get possession on the Bills, 25 or something. They have a 4th and 2 that they can convert. At that point, if you convert that into 4, you're up 14-3, Herbie. But that don't happen. They end up Trevor Lawrence's knee goes down early. They challenge. It gets converted to the Bills, and then the Bills drive 92 yards downfield, score a touchdown. That's a massive swing. I
Yep.
mean, if the
Massive.
Jaguars score a touchdown and it's 14-3, we might be talking a totally different game here.
Completely different game.
You know, so
Completely different game.
it's crazy just the little things that happen in a football game, Herbie. And here's another thing I have, and this is the only other complaint I guess I could have because the Jags did fight valiantly for the most part. But Herbie, Liam Cohen, I get it. You have your top flight quarterback that you came here and you unlocked him, right? After the first half of the season, you figured out his combination buttons to his move list. Left, right, down, square, square, X. We get it. But Herbie, you have a running game. Travis Etienne at one point was averaging 12 yards a pop. Tootin was averaging 12 yards a pop. Run the ball. The Bills were known. Kryptonite was the run defense, and you had success.
The
But
whole game.
they just fell in love with throwing the ball, which is why I think when they didn't get that touchdown, when they couldn't convert that 4th and 2, it hurt them, Herbie, because you're up 14-3, you have a lot more incentive to run the ball. Instead, you want Trevor Lawrence to be the hero. Your hero gets you a tip pass for an interception to end the game. And listen, Jags fans, by the way, Herbie, they shouldn't feel bad at all because Liam Cohen did an excellent job in his first year as head coach. These dudes won 13 games. You know what I mean? And you had Tony Romo talking about, they could have went to the Super Bowl. You had him gushing about y'all. So,
Let me go ahead and really highlight what you're talking about, right? Because the numbers I'm about to throw out to both of you guys, it's gonna really just be like, yo, there's no way. All right. To Rod's point, run the ball. Trevor Lawrence had 30 pass attempts. Travis Etienne had 10 carries. Tootin had 4. Trevor Lawrence had 6.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence had more rushing attempts than the backup running back.
Who was averaging 12 yards a pop.
Yeah.
Averaging 12 yards a pop.
12.8 yards a pop. Total, the 5 players who qualified for rushing attempts, right? There's 5 players. There was total 23 rushing attempts in a game that was close. In a game where you guys were averaging as a team 6.7 yards per carry. In a game where you guys as a team got and gained over 150 rushing yards.
In a playoff game. At home.
In a playoff game at home.
Yeah. It reminds me of Baltimore when they just stopped running the ball. During those games that they just where's Derrick Henry? And it's just
Right.
I don't know. It's a head scratcher. Some of these coaches, and I've seen it a lot this year, where they just instead of just going with what got you there, they say, "Oh, nah, I'm smarter than you. We're gonna throw the ball." And then this type of stuff happens where you're looking at the stats and you're looking at it's like, how do we lose this game? And it's mind-boggling to me.
No, we'll get to a game where you ask, "How do we lose this game?" We'll get there. this one, I can see how you lose this game, right? Like you give up a very long drive, and because at the end of the day, remember, at one point it was 24-20. Just get a stop, right? Like just get a stop. For as much as we're talking ish about the offense and the decisions that the offense made, the defense got to show up too. The defense was very good for large stretches of the game until they were not. And like you said, in that third quarter, they just went back and forth. Busted coverage on both sides. Long conversions, giving up long 3rd and 5+ conversions on both sides, right? Like both teams on offense show resilience, but if I am averaging 7 yards a pop, maybe I don't have to throw the ball 30 times with Trevor Lawrence, dog. Like, if I'm averaging 7 yards a pop, how do the Bills have a 33-22 time of possession advantage? Something's not adding up if we're rushing the ball that successfully. That means you're going out of your way to throw the ball for no reason. And I love it because that means you trust Trevor Lawrence more than you got any business or any right to do. Yes. What a beautiful playoffs, man. I'm getting everything. The only thing that I got that I wanted that I didn't get was the Rams winning against the Panthers, man. So let's take it there, bro.